in this episode of The Bakery.
Hey, Andrew, so you want to talk so I can come meet you there on the weekend? We can talk?
I mean, if you can find me, yeah.
If I can find you?
Yeah,
But you don't want to talk right now?
No, I don't.
Why, bro? I came here just for you, bro. Oh, with these guys? The New Testament, for example? I think there's no way you can extract the Trinitarian doctrine from there.
Really?
So you think John wrote John?
Oh, yeah.
So you think John, who's a first century fisherman who was uneducated, wrote a highly advanced gospel in Koine Greek with highly advanced philosophical ideas? You have to admit that's historically implausible.
Jesus says, if he's going through, he's like, you're not going to believe me, believe on the evidence of the works themselves.
And the works I do, yes.
And like in the previous chapter, when he gives sight to the blind man,
Yes.
right? I go back and I look in Isaiah 35, and I said, God will come, and then, it's like God will come, and then
Yeah.
he will restore sight to the blind.
In Jeremiah, it says that it is God that sends the rain down. Elijah says that it is he who brings down the rain by his command. Now maybe I should think that Elijah is kind of alluding to him being God. Would you say that like that's a reasonable approach?
Every time we see Elijah praying for this to happen, Jesus is by his own power able to do these
By his own power.
by his own, because it says
It says that the power was given to him by God.
خالفت أقوال الشيوخ فأنتم.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah, everybody. How's everybody doing? We are in Montreal, Quebec. I'm here for a specific reason. There's been this preacher. His name is Andrew, the disciple of Christ. I see him on my TikTok all the time. I said I'm going to give him a visit. I'm going to give him a surprise visit, and here we are. We're looking for him. He's doing an evangelization course, and he doesn't know who's about to pull up. So stay tuned.
All right, guys, so we just spoke to Andrew, and he recognized me. He said, "Are you the Orthodox Muslim? You're the star of Muslim apologetics." And then he said, "Oh, I have a baby shower to go to right after, just to let you guys know." I told him, "Okay, brother, just spare like 10, 15 minutes, so we can get to know each other a little bit." But while he was translating, I could see him look sideways, bro. Bro, I'm telling you, he's terrifying right now, bro. I'm telling you. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Hey, Andrew. So when are you usually outside?
I go on weekends.
So you want to talk so I can come meet you there on the weekend? We can talk?
I mean, if you can find me, yeah.
If I can find you?
Yeah,
But you don't want to talk right now?
No, I don't.
Why, bro? I came here just for you, bro.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That's why I warned you, like in the beginning. As soon as I saw you.
It's okay, but I enjoyed it anyway. It's fine.
But it's an
fine.
honor to meet you, man.
I'll try to see you sometime on Saint Laurent.
All right,
bro.
bro.
All right, thank you. Have a good one. Have a good one. All right, you guys wanna head out?
well, you want to head up?
Huh?
You want to head up?
Yeah, I guess. I came for Andrew, but he doesn't want to talk. So, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe you could spark something.
Oh, with these guys?
Bro, why not?
Yeah? Are we guys interested in having a discussion? An interfaith discussion?
Are you like a Muslim apologist?
Yeah, I am. I actually came for Andrew because he's always outside. He does a lot of videos outside. I do something similar as well, so I came to talk to him because I heard he just got back from Tanzania. I also wanted to see what this was about. It was nice. I enjoyed it. But he said that he's not interested. He doesn't want to talk. So I said, okay, no problem. Yeah. But I don't know if any of you guys wanted to have a discussion at all. Yeah. I think when it comes to when it comes to the New Testament, for example, I think there's no way you can extract the Trinitarian doctrine from there. No way. No. And this is what I say. I say, if the New Testament teaches Trinitarian dogma, as later codified by Nicaea, as understood in that terminology, right? If that was the case, then we would expect earlier fathers and church writers to confess it as later understood to be orthodox. But we don't find that.
Well, here's I'm guessing, is that one of your big points? It's obvious, like for Islam, it's a Trinitarian God. It's like that doesn't.
Yeah, I think between us and you, we could talk about soteriology, salvation, whatever. Jesus died on the cross or not. I think the biggest issue is the continuity with the biblical God, where I would say that the prophets don't recognize a tripersonal God at all. By the time in the New Testament, I don't think in the book of Acts or any book of the New Testament recognizes it as tripersonal God. I think there is a two-power in heaven idea in the New Testament, where there is God and then there is this exalted Son, kind of like what Unitarians believe in. I don't know if you know Dale Tuggy and them, those guys, Unitarian guys. I think that's what the New Testament, as a Muslim, I think that's what the New Testament teaches. Then after development of doctrine, two-stage logos theory and Platonism and stuff, by the time you have Nicaea, yeah, by the time you reach Nicaea,
just like, I mean, it's been
yeah.
you know, like long ago. It was something that came in the 80s, and it's based on this trying to
what is
drawing the comparisons between Plato's version of God and like Pauline writings.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll say this.
You don't think there is any Platonism in John?
No. I think the Platonism that you see in John more like it's more like Stoicism.
Is what, sir? Stoicism. Yeah.
What you see in John is more pulled from a source where Hebrews is pulling from the Old Testament. It's an Old Testament understanding that both are pulling from in John's gospel. Like look at John. John was the last disciple alive, right? And he was exiled, and what he was dealing with at the time was this form of Gnosticism.
So you think John wrote John?
Oh yeah.
So you think John, who's a first century fisherman who was uneducated, wrote a highly advanced gospel in Koine Greek with highly advanced philosophical ideas? You have to admit that's historically implausible.
No, because like the understanding of Scripture being that these men were carried along by the Spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't discredit the supernatural. I don't discredit the miracle, the miraculous.
So you're saying the Holy Spirit made him so advanced in his writing? Is what you're saying?
I'm saying there's not anything that I take out of the hands of God. He's capable of anything.
So how would you explain where John in the prologue, in the beginning was the Word was God, the Word was God? It seems that John's gospel is working on his high Christology, admittedly, right? Where Jesus he comes from heaven, he's exalted, he's a divine figure. How would you explain how that idea is completely missing from our earliest gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke?
Yeah, I think because in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they all have ideas and points they're pointing at. Like for example, like Matthew's gospel is very Jewish.
Yeah.
It's very pointing at what the miracles were alluding to in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Right, and then obviously because we start with the genealogy.
Yeah.
Right. When you get to like Luke, there's him and Matthew borrowing off like a source we don't know, like we call it Q, right?
Yep.
Borrowing off of that, but Luke's gospel was an apologetic approach.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to gather as much of the evidence as I can, and that's the
But notice, even with that, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, their gospels, that's why we call them synoptics, they're almost identical in what they say, right? Would you say that Jesus saying that he's divine, saying that he's God in any sense, is one of the most significant teachings that that would have stayed with somebody if they heard it?
I think for us today, we want to hear it out of his mouth.
Yeah.
I think the things that he was doing was alluding exactly to like his personhood.
Yeah.
To a Jewish audience made perfect sense as it falls on kind of deaf ears today.
Yeah.
Like the things that he's doing. One of the passages that I like the most is where Jesus says, you know, if he's going through, he's like, you're not going to believe me, believe on the evidence of the works himself.
And the works I do, yes.
And like in the previous chapter, when he gives sight to the blind man,
yes.
right? I go back and I look in Isaiah 35, and I said, you know, God will come, and then it's like God will come, and then he will restore sight to the blind. He will heal the lame. He will all the things. And so I draw that distinction. I was like, okay, God will come. Then these things happen, and Jesus is pointing. He's like, you're not going to believe it from my mouth. You know what the scriptures say. Look what I've done. What does that tell you? Right.
So using that approach, though, I'm trying to think here. For example, in Jeremiah, it says that it is God that sends the rain down. Right? God is the only one who sends down the rain. When we look at figures like Elijah, who are a typology of Christ, you could say, Elijah says that it is he who brings down the rain by his command. So then would you say that it's viable for somebody to say, well, look, here it says it is God who does it, In another place, it's Elijah who does it. So now maybe I should think that Elijah is kind of alluding to him being God. Would you say that like that's a reasonable approach?
Elijah's alluding to himself being God?
Yeah.
No, because I mean the difference being that we see a lot of things that Christ does where he doesn't pray before it happens. But he's able to do things, he's able to restore people back to life, and he doesn't pray for the power through him as Elijah. Every example we see Elijah praying for this to happen. Jesus is by his own power able to do these
by his own power.
By his own, because
it says that the power was given to him by God. Right?
Given to him, and like he can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
On his own.
Right.
But also there's that one time with Lazarus, before he raises up Lazarus, he says, Father, I'm praying now publicly. Usually I pray to you, but we don't know if we don't actually see the part where he prayed. But then he says, now I'm doing it publicly, meaning that he's been doing it secretly, so that the people know that it is you who's doing the work.
I don't know if he can apply doing it secretly. I don't.
But he says, now I'm doing it publicly,
he
right?
says, I'm doing it for their benefit, not for my own.
Yeah, no, but he says, I'm praying.
Because and this goes back to like a common like distinction between Islam and Christianity, right? It's that does Islam deny like Christ having two natures, like human and divine nature?
Of course.
They say no, right?
Yeah, we don't believe he's God, so obviously we would deny that. Yeah.
So the explanation from the Christian understanding,
from
what we get from the New Testament would be that we see him doing things that he would do as the perfect human, like his human nature to be the perfect human. The substitution would include honoring God.
Yeah.
Right?
But what in that would drive you or compel you to assume that he has a second divine nature, or that he's God just the same way? Because I grant you, in John's gospel, Jesus seems to have a pre-existence. No problem there. But that's different from saying that he's God in the same way that the Father is God. And that's also different from saying that Mark, Matthew, and Luke view him that way. Right? So what drives you to assume from Jesus' own words that he has any kind of divine nature? Like if somebody were to ask you, where does Jesus say he has a divine nature? Where would you take him?
I would look at, where he says, no one takes my life from me, that I give it up voluntarily and I take it. I can raise it up by my own self.
Right.
He's like I give it and I raise it again.
Yeah.
Right. Stuff like that. The high Christology, again, like.
Yeah, but the Book of Acts says the Father took it. So now you'd have to understand that, together, right? You'd say that the Father is the one who's actualizing this by agency of the Son, because you don't think the Son alone is taking up his own life.
Well, I think like the Father, the Son, and the Spirit are working along the same lines with the distinct roles within the same Godhead. And you know this argument.
No, I know that's what you believe. I'm saying, if somebody is a normal Christian, they read the Bible, they go through the Gospels, they go through the letters of Paul, they go through Hebrews. Where would they see that there is this doctrine of Father, Son, Holy Spirit? They're God in the same exact way, and that they're the Most High God, and that each of them is a personal being, and they're not each other. Would you admit that that's not explicitly articulated in that?
Well, I look at is it in Mark? Mark or Matthew? Jesus is baptized and he raised, and the Spirit is sitting on him like a voice from heaven says, "This is my son who I'm pleased." And the son is being raised. And so you have like the passages like that in the synoptics that identify three distinct persons given the attributes in the divine names of God, and we're trying to reconcile how can this be. I hear a voice, there's a descending of the Spirit, and there's a person being baptized.
But how does that make them God altogether? No, I know there's three mentioned, but we can go to other passages where a different three are mentioned. So then we shouldn't assume that now there's a different Trinity, right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
There's something that's found in Islam that says, like God tells us that some people, they will take the verses that are kind of ambiguous.
They use the ambiguous verses to explain the unambiguous verse, the clear verse.
To explain the clear verses.
Yeah.
And those are people people who were
Trying to lead others astray. Yeah.
So what I found is that so when I started reading the Bible, I haven't read it entirely in its entirety, but I read some passages. Is that there's a lot of very clear verses that shows that Jesus is not God. He like claims not to be God. He rejects this idea of him being God. And then there are, you could argue some, as you said, some verses in John maybe you could argue that he is a type of God, but then they kind of, the Christians, what I found them to do is to kind of reject those clear verses in favor of those verses who are kind of ambiguous, and then you'd have to do some kind of mental gymnastics in order to make it work into a coherent or into a theology that will find a way. I don't know if you agree with that or.
I mean, me personally, I wouldn't agree because I don't think I'm doing mental gymnastics to get there. I see evidence in the Bible of like Jesus receiving worship and not rebuking someone.
Receiving worship.
Yeah.
Where does that happen?
So like when Jesus comes back, Thomas is doubting.
He says, "My Lord and my God."
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
So you're saying he's receiving worship there?
Yeah, he's called God and he doesn't rebuke Thomas. He's like blessing you because you believe, but you have not, you believe because you've seen blessed others who have not seen.
Yeah. So I would actually, like I said, I would actually agree with you that John's gospel, Jesus is called a God, right? But remember, in the New Testament, the word God, theos, or in the Hebrew Elohim, it's not a rigid designator, meaning it has a semantic range. Angels are called gods. Semi-divine beings are called gods. In Philo, do you know what Philo is?
Yes.
Yeah, Philo, since the logos of God is a God, but he thinks it's a lower God. So I would agree with you that in John's gospel, Jesus is a God in some lower sense. But all throughout, John's thesis is that this is written so that you believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God. And you have passages like John 17:3, where the only true God is the Father. Jesus Christ is the one who's sent by the only true God. Where Jesus in John chapter 5, he says, you reject the one who's alone the true God. So you have this distinction between Ha-Theos, the God, or the only true God, who's the Father alone, who's the Most High. He gives Jesus authority, he gives him power, he exalts him. Then Jesus is kind of like second divinity under him. Where is this idea that in John, where Jesus is God in the same sense that the Father is God? You know how in Nicaea they say consubstantial, of the same essence, of the same nature.
Well, you don't believe that the Trinity came out of Nicaea.
No, I'm not saying the Trinity, you have to understand. The Trinity as understood by Nicaea, so when they say Trinity,
Trying to define it.
yeah, so when you say Trinity, right, the first person to say the word Trinity is debated, Theophilus of Antioch or Tertullian. They're from the 2nd century. They believe in a Trinity, but you'd go to passages in Tertullian, he says things like, Jesus is a creature. Jesus came at a point in time. Jesus is a smaller portion of the substance. So then, he believes in a Trinity, he believes they're all divine, but the way that he's explaining it is not like Nicaea would have it, that actually Jesus is not created, he doesn't come, he's eternally begotten before the ages, that he's the same kind of God as the Father. That was with Nicaea. Yeah, I would say that's with Nicaea.
That's good, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Here's a question. In Texas, I don't have.
Oh, you're from Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, man. Nice. It's a nice place to live. Yeah, it's a nice place.
Yeah.
Far from home, yeah.
I love it. No,
Yeah.
I've lived it my whole life. I don't come in contact with a lot of Muslims. A lot of Muslims who are.
There's so many Muslims in Texas, no?
Just where I'm at.
Oh, where you're, okay.
So it's
Makes
like maybe like
fair.
Austin or like Dallas. Or
Fair. Yeah.
But there's a question that when I was coming to, because just like you said, like I support anyone trying to look through Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, Christianity, if there's a conversation I was having, it's like if you're sincere and pursuing the truth.
Yeah.
Because the reason is, and this is something I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Whenever I had the opportunity.
Yeah.
You understand like the law of non-contradiction.
Yeah, it's one of the laws of logic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So obviously two truth claims both can't be true at the same different things about the same thing.
Yes.
Okay. The thing that struck me is interesting. Is that over here you have all these camps that say
All camps?
all the camps. I'm saying camps like religions.
Like sects or religion?
No, like Hinduism.
Oh, religion. Okay, yeah,
So
yeah, okay.
You have all these religions
Yeah.
that don't refute these.
Nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you. Have a good one. Have a good one. Yeah.
But over here that don't refute.
Have a good one. Have a good one. Enjoy. Yeah.
That's cool. If you go to Africa,
Yeah.
everyone shakes like that.
Oh yeah, do that?
Everyone does like
Oh
that.
yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he'll keep doing it. Dude.
Yeah.
I was doing it for like 10 times. Just gotta go a cool way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so over here, everyone that doesn't refute Jesus of Nazareth, he exists
Yeah.
as a person, and he can be anything. He can be a prophet, a wise sage, a good teacher. You know, he can be anything except God.
Except God.
And then over here there's only one claim that says no. He isn't.
Yeah.
And so, and I just present this like this. This isn't like slam the gavel.
Yeah.
It's that I look at that, and I believe the law of non-contradiction. I believe that truth isn't.
Sorry guys, we need to be out of here.
Yeah.
Do you have I'll hit this up.
Yeah.
To wrap it up real quick.
Yeah.
I believe that truth is objective.
Yes.
If I'm looking and I see that all these share a similar claim and that Jesus can be something else
Yeah.
except God, and one is saying no, he is God.
Yeah.
It draws a line where I'm like, well, we know that two things can be true on the same subject. These agree.
Yeah.
This one doesn't.
Yeah.
And that just kind of struck me.
These well, they don't agree.
Well, they agree in the sense
Yeah.
that he can't be God.
Yeah.
And there's one saying, no, he is.
Yeah.
And that just kind of like...
But all of them disagree. None of them agree together. For example, for example, you would agree with a Jew that he's a man. Right? You would say that he's a man.
Right.
But you would say that he's also God.
Right.
But I would agree with a Jew that he's a man. But he'd say, no, he's not a prophet. He's burning in hell in the Talmud. But you say that he's a prophet. You understand?
Y'all would agree in that
Yeah.
he's not God.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
of course.
He's like, no, he is.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just something I thought
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
It brought me to where when I was looking, when I was like, because of all this like coming here for me,
Yeah.
I don't work for the organization. I'm here on my own dime.
Oh yeah.
Coming to like Uganda here is very inconvenient for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, if the only reason I'm going to do this and put myself out there
Yeah.
is I'm not going to be duped. And
Yeah.
I looked at it, and that was something that just bothered me.
Yeah. I
What's
see.
your name? Tell me your name.
AJ, nice to meet you. Taylor, right?
Taylor, can I get a picture with y'all?
Of course, man. Of course. Let's get a picture. Let's get a picture. Yes.
I appreciate it, man, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, you could have a nice conversation together. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Let me get one of these guys.
Yeah. We're taking a picture.
I didn't get his last point though.
Huh?
I didn't get his last
Yeah,
point.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, Taylor, man.
Have a good day.
Hey, you have a good one. Enjoy. God bless, man. God bless. Thank you. You know what's interesting is, you know, that guy was a really nice guy. We had a nice conversation. Unfortunately, he was all over the place. I don't think he, especially on the last point, trying to talk about the law of non-contradiction. I don't know what that had to do with anything. Maybe he just misunderstands what that means. But we came out, we wanted to come for Andrew. As soon as he saw me, he started twitching. You know, he said, you know, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to be recorded. I don't want to talk to you. You know, I said, well, you know, you record people. You talk to Muslims. You do it every night. So what's the issue? Unfortunately, he just said, oh, well, no, I don't feel comfortable. You know, you're way more advanced than me and stuff. I'm like, okay, man, well, don't act like you're all big talk on TikTok. And when I come to see you in person, you know, you act humble and like you don't know anything and you don't want to talk. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.